Hi YouTube, what's up? I believe again with What's My Name Again, and today we're gonna talk about a holiday. Today is a holiday, a very special day, although it's not that kind of holiday when people don't go to work or to school, but it's still celebrated as a national celebrations day and even as a religious celebrations day for several people. The reason for this holiday is not somewhere in the Bible, it's modern. About 49 years ago, in 1967, there was a war, the 6 Days War, where Israel fought against its neighbors. And during that war, Israel conquered the eastern part of Jerusalem from Jordan. Now, I'm not going to talk about politics, wars, conquest, occupation. It's a political issue, and I don't want to go there. So if you're going to comment something about the occupation, I'll just delete it because I'm not interested in these kind of comments. And this is not a discussion here. The discussion here is about the city itself. The theme here is the names of the city. As I mentioned, in English you call it Jerusalem. In Hebrew we call it Yerushalayim. And the common Arabic name is Ursalim al-Quds, mainly al-Quds. And we're going to talk about all these names and their diversities. Now, the name Jerusalem appears for the first time in the 19th century BCE in Egyptian texts, where it could be transcribed into something like Aushmam and read like Urshalem, something like that. And in the 13th century BCE, it's mentioned as Urshalim, which is similar to the Arabic pronunciation nowadays. Now, in the Bible, this city is first called Shalem or Shalim. In that case, we need to understand the meaning of that name. Now, the name derives from the local Yevusi or Jebusite god Shalim, who was the god of the sunset. The word Shalem or Shalim comes from the Hebrew word for peace or wholeness, Shalom. So, the name Ir Shalim or Yerushalim or Urshalim is city, Ir, and Shalim or Shalem, city of peace or city named or founded by the god Shalim. And it first was mentioned in the Bible when Abraham meets the king of Shalim. His name is Melchizedek. Melech or Malik in Arabic is king. Tzedek is justice. And the king of justice is also a priest for El. As I mentioned before in previous videos, El or Eu was the main god of the local Canaanite pantheon, something like Zeus for the Greeks, and Shalim was one of his gods. And of course, the word El later came into Hebrew as a word for God, a god, any god. So, the first name is after a local deity, and you can say after sunset or after peace. Now, it's funny that it's named the city of sunset because Jerusalem is in the eastern part of this land, which means maybe sunrise will be more suitable, but I didn't choose the name, that's just an historic fact. After a few decades, King David conquers the city from the Jebusite. In that era, the city is called Yevus. By the way, David conquers that city via cutting off the water supply to the city, and after conquering it, he renames the city to Yerushalayim, which actually was the older name. The significance of the conquest is very important. King David comes from a tribe called Judea, the common tribe now. The king before him comes from the tribe of Benjamin, and the new king doesn't want to be a king of a tribe. So he needs to found a city that would be neutral. So he occupies and calls it the capital of all of Israel. Very important, something that was done by many countries and states later. So when David conquers Yerushalayim, it becomes his capital, and its name is written in many accounts in the area, Assyria, Babylon, Egypt, etc. After a few centuries, this city falls and the Babylonians conquer it. The people of Judea who leave Jerusalem miss Jerusalem, but they don't always call it Jerusalem in the Bible. They sometimes call it Zion or Zion. The meaning of Zion probably has something to do with Ziyun, coordinate. the place you pray to, you coordinate your hopes to. The name Zion could be found in many songs and psalms, from Boney M to Bob Marley, and of course in Matrix. When the people returned to Jerusalem, they rebuilt the burnt temple, and the Judean now kingdom, because the other tribes of Israel kind of disappear, the Judean kingdom continues to exist more or less under different occupiers, the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans. When the Romans have enough of the Jewish mutiny, they burn the temple and rename the city. The city is now called Ilia Capitolina. Ilios was a kind of family name for the Emperor Adrianus, and Capitolina is after the second name of the god Jupiter. So it's kind of an act by the Romans to dedicate the holiest city of the monotheists to their main god, Jupiter. This name, Ilia, actually existed throughout the decade and appears as the main name for this city in Muslim texts during the Arabic occupation of this land in medieval times. A few centuries after the Romans, there is a prophet somewhere around here in Saudi Arabia named Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the Muslims say, and the prophet Muhammad mentions a city in the Quran, a holy city, where he flies on his Pegasus El Burak and ties his horse on this mountain where the world was created, and goes to the sky and meets many holy people like David and Moses, and God, Allah, tells him how many times to pray. The city he flies to is called Al-Quds. Kadosh, Quds, Mukaddas is holy. The holy place, the Holy of Holies. Now, the name Jerusalem actually doesn't appear there, but in medieval times, when the Arabs conquered this land, they claimed that the holy city of Quds is actually Jerusalem. Now, this claim continues to be claimed. I have nothing for it or against it. This is the claim. And by the way, the horse was tied to the edge of the mountain, edge in Hebrew, Katzeh, in Arabic, Al-Aqsa, and this is the main mosque on the Temple Mount, about which the conflict between our religions exists till this very day. So we have Rshemam, or something like that, by the Egyptians. We have Shalim by the Jebusites. We have Yerushalayim. Later, Yevus, or the Jebusites, Yerushalayim by King David. We have Zion by the Jews in Babylon. We have Ilia, or Ilia Capitolina by the Romans. And we have Al-Quds by the Arabs. So many names. The Jewish scholars actually say that Jerusalem have 70 names, and none of them were mentioned before besides Zion and Yerushalayim. There are many names. Most of them describe Jerusalem as the city of beauty, the city of view, the mountain of God, the biggest mountain, the lion city. Many names that are more superlatives for this city. Nowadays, the city of Jerusalem is a home for about 800,000 people, which means it's actually a bit bigger than Paris in size and in local population, not tourists, etc. And until now, everybody says it's their city. Actually, now I recall when I was a student in the 5th grade, a teacher asked us to write new names for the city of Jerusalem. And I invented a name, Irenu, our city. Now, I meant it in the most national way, our city. But when I read it in class, the teacher said, that's great. Everybody can say Irenu, everybody can say our city and mean it as his. Actually, it's not that bad. And all that's left for me to do is to wish on this holiday that the city would behave as its name says. It would be the city of Shalem, a whole city, a city of Shalom, a city holy to everybody, a city of peace. If you want to know the meaning of your name, or maybe of your city's name if it's biblical, I'll be glad to tell you. So write me down there, or in the email, or anything, and I'll be glad to help. That's it. Shalom from Israel.